Hi, everybody. This is Skip Alzheimer. Welcome to the AV Geeks Lunchtime Streaming Show, where I'm pre-recording because I'm traveling. So we're going to see films about traveling, films about airports and airplanes, rental cars, and also a hint to where I'm going. So I'll let you watch and enjoy. If you like what you saw, hit the thumbs up, hit the like button. You can also support us via the Super Thanks button or via ko-fi.com/avgeeks or patreon.com/avgeeks. Those are great ways to support us, but just show up. And there'll be another pre-recorded show tomorrow. Everybody, take care. Have a great rest of your day. Bye.
City squares, buses, churches, plowed fields of black soil, tractors, trucks, and grain in the elevators, rolling hills, hometowns, friends and neighbors, backyards and streets, and the highway over to Junction City. This is America, young, lusty, where necessity has been indeed the mother of invention. The westward push. For 250 years, we spread thin across a continent. Another 50 years and the job was done. The new rawness gave way to dignity and a way of life. People were established. It was time to turn to new things. With great daring and a certain amount of apprehension, a man could buy one of those newfangled buggies, a horseless carriage. This was the year, 1903, that the brothers named Wright, Orville and Wilbur, at Kitty Hawk, North Carolina, put wings on the engine and flew. These were the days people said, auto cars? Not practical. Why, we don't have auto car roads. By the 1920s, cars were old hat. But to most people, the Wright brothers' invention was still new. It was at this time they saw their first airplane. The day of the barnstormer had come. You saw them at county fairs. They landed in pastures, took a few of the daring for a ride, and moved on. It wasn't all joy rides. Airplane people were serious. They flew the mail from coast to coast. By 1927, there were 240 airports in the land. City fathers debated the question of where to put the airport. Today, there are 7,000 airports. Every major city has at least one. Almost half of America's airports are publicly owned. They are a public facility like parks and streets, libraries and auditoriums. They are the basis of new industries and the extension of others. They are in growing demand and strive mightily to meet that demand. A third of America lives in small towns and on farms or ranches. These towns have less than 2,500 people and are centers for the surrounding country. Since the first barnstormer landed in the levelest adjacent pasture he could find, the small towns have discussed and planned airports. The biggest question then and now is where should the airport be? How far from town? Or how close to town? Will air visitors walk? Or will there be commercial ground transportation or courtesy cars? The land immediately available was often accepted as solving the question. Today, The town fathers, the civic planners, are more thoughtful. There are examples to study. There is experience to draw from. But most important is the nearly phenomenal growth of airplane usage to be considered. Airplanes aren't an occasional sight anymore. They are common. They are almost old hat. An airport is a terminal, a depot. It should be easily available, as close to town as possible. Airport specifications vary according to altitude and temperature. Local specifications are available from state aeronautics departments. How big is the job of building a community airport? The biggest investment is the land, 15 to 40 acres, level and clear, with good airplane approaches at both ends. Airport expansion must be considered. Longer runways, future parking space, and more hangars. Wise men look back over the past 2 decades and plan for the 20 years to come. Farmers and ranchers are ardent and faithful airplane users. The big ground distances in rural America are reduced a third or a quarter by flying. This flying is having a strong effect on the economy of raising a crop and bringing it to harvest. Growers have streamlined agriculture, and since the introduction of farm machinery, they have put it on a mass production basis. Since World War II, the airplane to the farmer has been a useful piece of farm machinery. The local airport has become community headquarters for seeding and fertilizing, the application of harvest sprays, the control of weeds, the control of insects and all the principal crops. An airport is no luxury item. It is the hub of thousands of acres of farmland, and to the surrounding community, the rural airport reduces the cost of aerial dusting and spraying. The airplanes can be based close to the job, and by this, the savings can be as much as $1 an acre for each acre fertilized, seeded, dusted, or sprayed. One season's work of crop dusting has often paid for an airport. Many farmers and ranchers are airplane owners. They have an airstrip at the home place, but if the combine is down, they are not averse to landing in the stubble to see that the machine is soon going again. They have learned to use the airplane like a pickup truck, to go into town for plowshares, axles, or seed. Tomorrow, they'll go over to Eden to attend the farm auction, and they'll make a dozen trips into town before the plowing is done. The government services use community airports in the management of the public domain. At one time, the protection of our 150 national forests depended upon ground crews that often had to hike, trail into the fire. Today, the Forest Service contracts for fixed base airplanes to spot and survey fires. Older planes are usually used for this work since they have short landing field characteristics and are especially suited to the job. Smoke jumper firefighting crews parachute to a position near the fire and put it out before it has a chance to spread. This system of reaching fires while they are small has been in use for well over a decade and has saved billions of board feet of timber. Smoke jumping has also contributed to the protection of the nation's water supply. The small airport, both municipal and private, plays an important role in the protection of natural resources. Aerial conservation work is done by the U.S. Bureau of Entomology and Plant Quarantine. In the east and in the west, large forest land areas have been sprayed to kill destructive insects. The gypsy moth, the tussock moth, the spruce budworm, the pine butterfly. Since more timber is lost to insects than to fire, this work by airplanes is significant. It has an indirect effect on all Americans. It reaches out to us through our lumber industry, through our nation's wood supply, into paper and furniture and housing and all the products of wood. American industry and business in the West, in the South, in the East, is the #1 user of airplanes and airports. Most municipal airports of the manufacturing centers of New England, the Great Lakes region, and the South are constructed to handle a constant flow of air traffic. Runways are paved. They are long, and there are several of them. They are built for heavy multi-engine aircraft. They are built to handle the executive aircraft of American industry. As industry builds branch factories, as it follows the pattern of decentralization, the smaller cities face an airport problem. There are few large industries today that are not airplane users. Many use both large and small aircraft. The smaller business planes are used by the engineering division, by production, and by the spearheading sales division. As one sales manager said, we use our airplane because it makes us independent. We make our own schedules. We don't have delays en route. We gain from 2 to 3 days a week. We figure the cost of a trip by regular public transportation and apply it to our airplane fund. The salesmen with big territories to cover are turning to the airplane. They visit the town with an airport like they used to visit the town on the railroad and then the town on the highway. More and more, they will come to the town with an airport. Where is the industry that isn't dependent upon sales? Where is the industry that doesn't want to maintain the position it's reached? Where is its payroll? The flow of America's products from manufacturer to consumer is vital. The consumer is the market found and developed by a salesman. Airports serve in local emergencies. They are part of the plan in case of national emergency. Airports are terminals for freight. Airports are a necessity to a multi-million-dollar dusting and spraying business. They are used by farmers, by ranchers. They are used by families, by sportsmen and vacationers. They are used by the Fish and Wildlife Services, by pipe and power line patrolmen, by local airlines in outlying districts. The first 2 hours after sunup is when most of the planes go out. They may be going on business for a construction corporation, for an oil company, for a diesel engine distributor. It may be a local real estate man, or an orthopedic surgeon, or a mining engineer. They may land at Winnipeg, Atlanta, Mexico City. They may land at Oak Ridge, Fairbanks, Flagstaff, or Anaconda. They may land at your town or mine. For the air is the greatest freeway man will ever know. It doesn't have to be built or maintained. It touches every city and town. So little is needed to use it. An airplane, a smooth strip of ground.
This is a focus leader. Do your movies look like this? Do your soundtracks sound like this? Or like this? If so, you need this. A focus leader. First, set your lens so that these lines are sharp and clear on all parts of the screen. Now, set the volume control on your projector. The sound level should be adjusted until my voice can be clearly understood in all sections of the room. You are now ready to participate in another Pan-American travel adventure.
United States of America, a place you've dreamed of visiting all your life. The cities you've heard of: New York, Los Angeles, Chicago, Miami, San Francisco, Niagara Falls, and other places to be discovered. Here we were, my wife and I, actually on our way. Not everyone can do it, but the lucky ones who can will remember it for the rest of their lives.
The round-trip fare itself cost us about $450. It could have been a lot less in a group, but we decided to go it alone. Then there we were in a first-rate comfortable hotel room for $10 a day and looking out at New York City. Where to go first? Why, sightseeing, of course. Radio City, the unbelievable skyscrapers.
And here we are, on top of one skyscraper, looking at a lot of others, including the tallest man-made structure in the world, the Empire State Building. Gives you a new perspective on people and things. Another stunning sight, the modern architecture at New York's International Airport. Here's another great way to go sightseeing in New York. We didn't need a guidebook to tell us who this was. Wall Street, the financial heart of the world. The United Nations building. But this calls for a closer look. Something to tell your grandchildren, that you sat and listened to the United Nations in session and watched your own delegate in action. But the political heart of America is 200 miles south of New York, and we decided to take the train. By the way, both the American and Canadian railroads gave us fare reductions of as much as 15%. 4 hours later, we were in Washington, D.C.
What a beautiful city Washington is. And a map does help you get the most out of it. Let's see. We should be right in front of the Lincoln Memorial, and there it is. All the famous historic sites in Washington are free. I loved the graceful lines of the Washington Monument.
555 feet high. "898 steps to the top."
We took the elevator and got a breathtaking bird's eye view of the Capitol, the Thomas Jefferson Memorial, another angle of the Lincoln Memorial, and various other government buildings.
And perhaps the most exciting of all, the home of the president, the White House. We just had to see it close up. 34 American presidents have lived in this house since it was first opened in 1800. It is open to visitors, free, 5 days a week. If we hang about long enough, we might get to see the president.
Or his lady.
Now we headed south to Miami, Florida. We discovered that air travel is generally much cheaper in the USA than in Europe, about half, in fact. Special rates for tourists. And of course, any of these tickets can be bought at home at a further 10% saving.
But I was beginning to miss our automobile and found it didn't cost much to rent one by the week. About $5 to $9 a day, depending on the model, plus a few cents a mile. And gasoline, believe it or not, costs only about 30 cents a gallon. Miami Beach is famous for having the most luxurious luxury hotels in the world. Activity centers on the fantastic swimming pools. And you can sip a drink on the terrace like a millionaire.
In the States, you're never far away from the sound of exotic rhythms to remind you that this is the land where the twist originated. No one ever seems to do any work in Miami. Certainly not the visitors.
Not this visitor, anyhow.
Miami is crisscrossed with beautiful inland waterways. And over on the ocean side, you can find deep-sea game fishing that ranks with the finest in the world. Niagara Falls is another celebrated vacation spot, traditional goal of honeymooners. Niagara Falls is between the United States and Canada, one of the great natural wonders of the world, where the Niagara River roars over a precipice 175 feet high, 212,000 cubic feet of water per second for more than 500,000 years. Now, westward, Chicago.
I just couldn't resist snapping a few shots wherever we went. But fortunately, film is very cheap in the U.S.
Chicago is the second biggest city in America, and you get a great view of its skyscrapers from the top of the Tribune Tower. And sometimes, the viewer also provides the view. There seems to be a suggestion that the view might be even better from the top of the flagpole.
Sorry, not today. Too high.
Westward again by Greyhound's Scenic Cruiser. Another wonderful way to see America. And the cost is equally wonderful. A special offer to visitors from overseas. 99 days for $99. These are the famous Badlands of South Dakota. A primeval waste of rock and clay. Not a plant grows here, not a bush, not a tree, not a blade of grass. The Sioux Indians still live out here, and many still cling to old customs and traditions. Looking as ancient as one of the mountains he was born in, our guide points the way to a famous site, Mount Rushmore. These are the Black Hills of South Dakota, the highest mountains east of the Rockies. On Mount Rushmore, the gigantic sculptured faces of 4 great American presidents, Washington, Jefferson, Theodore Roosevelt, and Lincoln.
Just a few miles away, we visited an authentic survival from the Old West, Rockville, South Dakota. It became a ghost town when the gold rush suddenly petered out 100 years ago. And the fantastically dry air has preserved everything in perfect condition. Everything authentic but the cowboy.
At less than $3 a meal, we had been eating very well.
Too well.
Dinosaur National Park straddles the states of Utah and Colorado. 75 million years ago or so, prehistoric creatures like these were walking around alive right here in Utah. Next to western Colorado, to Mesa Verde. Long ages ago, cliff-dwelling Indians lived here, sun worshippers. Then about 1,000 years ago, they just disappeared. Nobody knows where or why. The modern Navajo Indians called them Anasazi, meaning the ancient people.
The National Park Service provides free guides to help visitors see everything worth seeing and explain the whole thing. They were just wonderful to us, and especially helpful when they found out we came from overseas. Many of the guides speak several languages. In fact, we never seemed to have any language problems. Communication was very easy. What could possibly have happened to the people who built these homes so cleverly? Only the silent mountains know the secret. In Yellowstone National Park in Wyoming, wild animals are tame and protected. The altitude here is over 10,000 feet, 2 miles above sea level.
Yellowstone has more than 100 geysers, And here's the most famous of them all, Old Faithful. Every 65 minutes since the world was young, she's been shooting this column of boiling water 165 feet in the air, 50 tons of water in about 4 minutes. Yellowstone has the world's grandest geysers, really a fantastic sight. People come from all over the world every year to see it. There are more than 3,000 of these hot sulfur springs in Yellowstone, a perfect setting for an expression of fantasy.
In the Teton Mountains of Wyoming, this typical silent mountain lake was made by a glacier millions of years ago.
We drove down to the state of Arizona through some breathtaking scenery and headed for one of the grandest natural sights in all America, the Grand Canyon. The guidebooks call it the greatest example of natural erosion and one of the most sublime spectacles in the world. More than a mile deep, 200 miles long, 18 miles wide. There is only one word for the Grand Canyon: incredible. What a feeling you get out west in America of just sheer space, room to breathe. Take Arizona, less than 500,000 people living in an area more than twice as big as England. If you explore the Grand Canyon, you can do it as the old-time prospectors did, on horseback or muleback. And the whole thing costs about $15, including the mule. The trip takes almost a day to get down to the very bottom of the canyon.
With us, of course, is the indispensable guide, a genuine character right out of a Western film.
A nation on wheels needs accommodations for automobiles as well as passengers. And so, everywhere along the American highway, we have the motel. Most of these have TV in every room and a swimming pool.
Las Vegas, gambling capital of the West. What they call in the States wide open, meaning the sky is the limit and anything goes.
The Golden Gate Bridge spans San Francisco Harbor. Here is the western outpost of American culture. Along the colorful San Francisco waterfront, the fishing fleet celebrated in the stories of Jack London keeps the restaurants supplied with an endless variety of great seafood. On Fisherman's Wharf, the fortunate visitor can still take his pick. and the hot crab barrel is a time-honored local institution. San Francisco's ancient trolley cars, about the last of their kind left in this nation of motor buses. San Franciscans take a lot of pride in their individuality. Another short hop, American style, down the Pacific Coast Highway to Hollywood, where the movies are made.
We saw Clark Gable's handprint caught forever in concrete. Joan Crawford, almost in person. And then we found ourselves in the craziest place of all, Disneyland. The home of Mickey Mouse.
Avis has asked me, STP's Andy Granatelli, to help write out a checkout manual for their mechanics. This manual guides Avis's mechanics to check out a car like I would. So, if there's an Avis car with a faulty fan belt in Los Angeles, it will be replaced like I would replace it. When an Avis car has a bumper-to-bumper check in Detroit, I will be there to check it. What does it mean to you? It means the Plymouth you rent from Avis will be one of the smoothest, best-running cars you can rent today.
If you think Avis tries harder because you can rent our Plymouths with any of 27 different credit cards, you ain't seen nothing yet.
If you think Avis tries harder because we replace our Plymouths every 6 months, you ain't seen nothing yet.
If you think Avis tries harder just because we empty the ashtrays in our Plymouths, you ain't seen nothing yet.
If you think Avis tries harder because we have faster check-in for our Plymouths, you ain't seen nothing yet.
I can help you find a way to be happy, 'cause the whole world is waiting there for you. La 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 la.
At Avis, we want to make sure that you're never stuck with a Plymouth with a lot of mileage. And since we don't ever expect it will happen, we make you this pledge. If you rent a Plymouth from us that has over 19,000 miles on the odometer, you can keep it.
With it that Avis tries harder, but you ain't seen nothing yet. Ain't seen nothing yet. Ain't seen nothing yet.
Reservation for a Plymouth.
Yes, Mr. Herbert. Oh, no. This is very unusual, but it seems that we've run out of Plymouth. However, I'm sure we can find you something nice at no extra cost.
Well, anything would be fine.
You know, this doesn't happen very often. Harry, would you send up 92006?
Oh, 026. Sounds wonderful.
It's an Imperial, Mr. Herbert.
If Avis can't give you the Plymouth you reserved, we'll move you up, maybe to an Imperial, at no extra cost.
Plymouth Station
Avis is so sure that every confirmed reservation you make, we fill. We make you a promise.
Your neck, sir.
We've got to be nice to our foreign visitors, so I'm just letting them go in front of me.
If Avis can't produce the Plymouth you reserved, we'll move you up to a higher-priced car. Maybe even an Imperial, for exactly the same
You're
price.
on about 2 minutes, thank you. Now, sir?
So why don't you take them in front?
Howard Bolton.
Your neck, sir.
Yes, I know, but he's from Texas, and I once had a lot of fun down there, and he's in a hurry with his oil wells and...
At last. Now, sir.
Yes, my name is Robert King, and I reserved a Plymouth.
Mr. King, about your Plymouth...
Now, when you reserve one car with Avis, it's almost like reserving two. The Plymouth you asked for, and the Imperial you're hoping for.
Oh, my. I have to give you an Imperial.
If you think Avis tries harder, you ain't seen nothing yet.
There are a few great smells in this world that a man can really appreciate. Bacon and eggs in the morning. And the smell of a new car. Every 6 months, Avis changes its new Plymouths for newer Plymouths. So you're sure to get a car that looks good, feels good, and smells good. There are a few great smells in this world that a man can really appreciate. Bacon and eggs in the morning. Salt water. And suntan oil. And the smell of a new car. Every 6 months, Avis changes its new Plymouths for newer Plymouths. So you're sure to get a low-mileage car that looks good, feels good, and smells good.
And there, on the same aircraft, was Faversham, out to get the same American contracts I was after. Time was of the essence.
Rather.
But I had discovered a super new way to travel called Fly Avis non-stop.
Avis, the rent-a-car people?
Right. You see, before boarding, I stopped at the Avis counter where they filled in my Fly Avis rental form, and I was off.
What?
Now, here is the aircraft.
Flying machine.
Here's the Avis counter. Here's the Avis parking area. And here is yours truly. Now, upon landing, I went directly from the aircraft, past the Avis counter, to the parking area, where the Avis agent escorted me to my marvelous new Dodge, and I was off in a flash, leaving Faversham still at his rent-a-car counter. By the time he got to the factory, I was already lunching with the president, contract signed.
Well done.
Thank you. But you know that Americans still drive on the wrong side of the road.
Pity. Do they?
Fly Avis nonstop between LaGuardia, National in Washington, and Logan in Boston. Since Avis doesn't expect it will happen, we make this pledge. If you rent a Plymouth from us that has over 19,000 miles on the odometer, you can keep it.
With it that Avis tries harder, but you ain't seen nothing yet.
What's new for 71? A good way to find out is to rent a 1971 car from Avis. Like this 1971 Chrysler Imperial, or other fine car. Make your next car rental a discovery trip. Rent a 71 from Avis. Avis makes you this promise. If we don't give you the Plymouth you reserved, we'll move you up, maybe even to an Imperial, at no extra cost. In fact, the worst thing that can happen with an Avis reservation is you'll get a bigger car. The Avis 711. $7 a day, 11 cents a mile for a sparkling new Plymouth. At this rate, you'll never forget us.
Avis is #1 in airport service around the world because Avis serves more airports than any airline or any rent-a-car company.
I'm not really
Avis puts a litter bag in every new Plymouth or other fine car we rent.
Tell him I'm going to make it a better world for you and for him.
Please don't go away, Daddy.
Keep your chin up, little tiger.
But what good are they if people don't use them?
Daddy. Daddy.
Won't you please try harder, too?
Why are you going, Daddy?
Richard, you mean this is...
Don't say it, Pamela.
I don't understand, Daddy.
Avis puts a litter bag in every new Plymouth or other fine car we rent.
I'm not going away, little soldier. I'm just... well...
What will I tell him when I tuck him in at night and he
But what
says,
good are they if people don't use them?
Just tell him I'm going to make it a better world for you and for him.
Please don't go away, Daddy.
Keep your chin up, little tiger. You're the man of the house now. Then take good care of Mommy.
Richard.
Pamela.
Daddy.
Won't you please try harder, too?
Hello, Avis? I can't get over how fast my Dodge was ready there. I was in and out, boom. What? Oh, it's a new computer, huh? The Wizard of Avis.
Now Avis has the Wizard, most advanced computer in the travel business.
But I have this problem. I'm lost.
And a toll-free hotline with a friendly Avis voice to help you.
Well, there's this big rock. There's a cactus. And there's a cloud.
And please remain seated until the aircraft
Here it comes. The long wait for the rent-a-car and the rental form to fill out. All those questions. I'll never make my appointment. Reservation for Mr. Lyman.
Oh, yes, Mr. Lyman, thank you.
Now, when you reserve from Avis, the information you give on the phone is given to the Wizard of Avis, most sophisticated computer in the travel world.
Your Plymouth is waiting right over there.
Hey, I'm early. Maybe I'll have a cup of coffee.
I tell you, we've got to find out what Avis is up to. Hello, Avis. My name is Alan Dennis. Can you get me a Dodge in a hurry? That fast, huh?
Introducing the Wizard of Avis.
Reservation for Dennis?
The most sophisticated computer system in the travel world. It gets you a car when and where you want it, remembers everything about your reservation, and prints your rental agreement accurately, automatically.
Dennis, haven't I seen you before?
I tell you, we've got to find out what Avis is up to. Hello, Avis. My name is Alan Dennis. Can you get me a Dodge in a hurry? That fast, huh?
Introducing the Wizard of Avis.
Reservation for Dennis?
The most sophisticated computer system in the travel world. It gets you a car when and where you want it, remembers everything about your reservation, and prints your rental agreement accurately, automatically.
Dennis, haven't I seen you before?
With Santa Fe cigars, your second, third, or fourth cigar of the day smokes as light as your first. That's why
100,000 times a day, someone lights up a Santa Fe.
with Santa Fe cigars, your second, third, or fourth cigar of the day smokes as light as your first. That's why
100,000 times a day, someone lights up a Santa Fe.
with Santa Fe cigars, your second, third, or fourth cigar of the day smokes as light as your first. That's why
100,000 times a day, someone lights up a Santa Fe.
With Santa Fe cigars, your second, third, or fourth cigar of the day smokes as light as your first. That's why
100,000 times a day, someone lights up a Santa Fe.
with Santa Fe cigars, your second, third, or fourth cigar of the day smokes as light as your first. That's why
100,000 times a day, someone lights up a Santa Fe.
With Santa Fe cigars, your second, third, or fourth cigar of the day smokes as light as your first. That's why
100,000 times a day, someone lights up a Santa Fe.
With Santa Fe cigars, your second, third, or fourth cigar of the day smokes as light as your first. That's why
100,000 times a day, someone lights up a Santa Fe. 99, 100,000 times a day, someone lights up a Santa Fe.
Why? Because with Santa Fe, your second, third, or fourth cigar of the day smokes just as light as your first. Santa Fe starts with light tobacco. Tobacco leaves that are selected for lightness. Cured and aged for lightness. Then rolled firmly to smoke extra light. So if you want your second, third, or fourth cigar of the day to smoke as light as your first, smoke Santa Fe. You'll see why.
100,000 times a day, someone lights up a Santa Fe. $99, 100,000 times a day, someone lights up a Santa Fe.
Why? Because with Santa Fe, your second, third, or fourth cigar of the day smokes just as light as your first. Santa Fe starts with light tobacco. Tobacco leaves that are selected for lightness. Cured and aged for lightness. Then rolled firmly to smoke extra light. So if you want your second, third, or fourth cigar of the day to smoke as light as your first, smoke Santa Fe. You'll see why.
100,000 times a day, someone lights up a Santa Fe. $99, 100,000 times a day, someone lights up a Santa Fe.
Why? Because with Santa Fe, your second, third, or fourth cigar of the day smokes just as light as your first. Santa Fe starts with light tobacco. Tobacco leaves that are selected for lightness. Cured and aged for lightness. Then rolled firmly to smoke extra light. So if you want your second, third, or fourth cigar of the day to smoke as light as your first, smoke Santa Fe. You'll see why.
100,000 times a day, someone lights up a Santa Fe. $99, 100,000 times a day, someone lights up a Santa Fe.
Why? Because with Santa Fe, your second, third, or fourth cigar of the day smokes just as light as your first. Santa Fe starts with light tobacco. Tobacco leaves that are selected for lightness. Cured and aged for lightness. Then rolled firmly to smoke extra light. So if you want your second, third, or fourth cigar of the day to smoke as light as your first, smoke Santa Fe. You'll see why.
100,000 times a day, someone lights up a Santa Fe. $99, 100,000 times a day, someone lights up a Santa Fe.
Why? Because with Santa Fe, your second, third, or fourth cigar of the day smokes just as light as your first. Santa Fe starts with light tobacco. Tobacco leaves that are selected for lightness. Cured and aged for lightness. Then rolled firmly to smoke extra light. So if you want your second, third, or fourth cigar of the day to smoke as light as your first, smoke Santa Fe. You'll see why.
100,000 times a day, someone lights up a Santa Fe. $99, 100,000 times a day, someone lights up a Santa Fe.
Why? Because with Santa Fe, your second, third, or fourth cigar of the day smokes just as light as your first. Santa Fe starts with light tobacco. Tobacco leaves that are selected for lightness. Cured and aged for lightness. Then rolled firmly to smoke extra light. So if you want your second, third, or fourth cigar of the day to smoke as light as your first, smoke Santa Fe. You'll see why.
100,000 times a day, someone lights up a Santa Fe. $99, 100,000 times a day, someone lights up a Santa Fe.
Why? Because with Santa Fe, your second, third, or fourth cigar of the day smokes just as light as your first. Santa Fe starts with light tobacco. Tobacco leaves that are selected for lightness. Cured and aged for lightness. Then rolled firmly to smoke extra light. So if you want your second, third, or fourth cigar of the day to smoke as light as your first, smoke Santa Fe. You'll see why.
100,000 times a day, someone lights up a Santa Fe.